Once upon a time in this country, there lived a concept called Huduma Namba, once touted as the single source of truth. It cost you and I a whopping 6 billion Kenya shillings. You see, we were upgrading our national ID system from a biographic to a biometric system. And what a robust debate we had then. Was it a social security system or was it a surveillance system? And as has become the norm with government projects in this country, it was foisted upon us, thrust in our faces, and dare I say, shoved down our throats, complete with threats. We were told that those who did not sign up for the Huduma Namba would be denied basic government services, would not even be allowed a Kenyan passport if they didn't have the Huduma Namba, obviously flying in the face of basic human rights as outlined in the Constitution of Kenya. But then again, as with most government projects or initiatives, we had a row over procurement, whiffs of a tender scandal in the offing for the procurement of the biometric kits. Deadlines came and deadlines went. Threats came, threats went. Extension after extension, and the final closing out of the process. And then came the wait, and the even longer wait for its rollout. And after they took our pictures, those of our children, took our fingerprints, the court stepped in and halted the entire project, raising issues with the safety of our data. And just like that, 6 billion shillings was gone. Just like that, months and months of coercion and threats were brought to a halt. And perhaps a sigh of relief for citizens who were scarred from a threatening government that they elected to serve them. Fast forward to a few years later, and now what was Huduma Namba has morphed into unique personal identification number. Now let me take you back briefly. The proponent of the Huduma Namba then, who even took his entire family to get registered, told us that it would be beneficial to citizens. Today, he terms it a fraud and a waste of 15 billion shillings, while promising that the new idea will be better. During the Huduma Namba drive, economists who castigated the system, saying there was not enough public participation and that the system was prone to manipulation for vested interests, now sit in the current administration, presumably pushing this idea. Hopefully, they will allow themselves to perhaps run what they criticized in the past. But if, like me, you are already exhausted when you remember what we have been through before, here are some questions that I hope can be answered before we even begin to roll out what we have been told is coming in the next 90 days. Question number 1. Considering the flip-flopping we have seen on the issue, what are we to believe now? Will the proponents support and push this agenda today, only to have a change of heart complete with revelations of wastage years from now? Why was it good then? Why is it bad today? What happened? What new information did they come across that changed their minds? In fact, what happened to that initial 15 billion shillings that we are now told was wasted on Huduma Namba? Can they assure us that we will not waste money this time around? Oh, and whatever happened to all that data that was collected before? I mean, where is that database? Is it safe? Who has access to it? And what have they been doing with it? Where are my fingerprints? Now, the other question I have is, can a mere number really tell me who I am? Establish my identity as a Kenyan? Do I not exist right now as we speak? And does the government not already know my needs? We have economic surveys, the demographic health survey. We have a census every 10 years. Isn't there enough information about me as a Kenyan? Oh, and by the way, doesn't the IEBC already have my biometrics? One thing is for sure. For Kenyans that are already battered by a lack of trust in what public officials say one day and then change the next, this is yet another sigh of, not this again. And that's my take tonight.